Hello all. Right now we are in the fourth episode of Dare to Begin. Dare to Begin is a podcast where we discuss with interesting entrepreneurs across the industries. And today we have a unique personality who's actually doing a great work in the content creation space. We all know that TikTok got banned a few months back, but even before the ban of TikTok, I was following this particular brand. They were doing great in terms of vernacular content creation, and they were creating their own unique set of values around the content creation space. And this is one amazing short form vertical video application, Bolo India. And we have the founder of Bolo India, Mr. Varun Saxena. Welcome to the podcast, sir. So, here today we are going to discuss in detail about your entrepreneurial journey. I have been following you even before the Bolo India journey because I was one of the students who purchased your career Anna courses, which in fact helped me a lot during my preparation during my aptitude exams and other exams. And apart from that, what inspired me to invite you to this podcast is the overall entrepreneurial journey which you went through right after your post graduation, which where you studied in NITI. I think you are an MBA graduate from NITI, and after that you went on to work with corporate, and then you started your career where you initiated career Anna. Because right now many of them might know you as a founder of Bolo India, because Bolo India is one of the main competitors which people are talking, which is replacing TikTok in the market of vertical video creation. Would like to know from you how the entire entrepreneurial journey started and how you dared to begin, because that is the main core purpose of this particular podcast, is to inspire people how they started up and what was the difficulties you faced during starting up. And I'm very curious to understand your learning, because you have been a founder of two amazingly valuable startups. So over to you, please.
Hey, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. Really humbled to be invited over here, and great to see someone who has been connected with us, through the previous startup as well, doing so well. And the world is so small, and today we are talking about this thing. Really great. It's a great feeling about that. Now, as you said, just going back to my college days, right? So before I got into NITI and I was preparing for MBA entrance exams, I was very active on different MBA platforms, especially Pagal Guy, where I used to be the super moderator, and we used to interact a lot with a lot of MBA aspirants, despite being the aspirant myself. Later on, once I got into NITI, all that journey continued. I continued to stay active on a lot of platforms. And once the NITI journey got over, that passion for interacting with a lot of new young people coming and aspiring for MBA continued. And I kept on talking to them, kept on spending a lot more time on these MBA platforms, as I was spending otherwise apart from my job post MBA. And that's where I thought, why not do something uh, to help these aspirants beyond the help which they were getting on a lot of other platforms. That takes me back to say around 2014, and it was just call to one of my friends, and I asked him, that we should start off something just as a hobby, and try to come up with some things which we as an MBA aspirant felt were required during those times. And right now all these live classes and everything is very common, but back in 2014 people were still skeptical to go for online classes.
Right.
And we identified that there was a lot of help which MBA aspirants required, especially in the non-CAT exams category, because all the coaching institutes, they used to talk about CAT and they used to sell their IM results. But when it came to say exams like XAT, NMAT, SNAP, IFT, TestNet, etc., there was no one talking about these.
Right.
And that's where we thought, we could come in. And we just started a website, primarily focused on the blogging part initially, with the name Career Anna. And we started to write a lot of things about MBA, which a lot of people never talked about. we also started to do some scoops around the placement reports of these schools, a very controversial topic for a lot of these schools out there. We started to do that. And then just as a first step, after launching the website, around say May, June, it was in October that I finally thought that I should quit my job and probably take the plunge. And whenever I brought that discussion up at my home, no one will agree to it. You are coming from a middle class family. You are you did all the hard work, did your BTech, did your MBA. You are into a stable job, earning well. Why do you want to do that? Right. But ultimately it was like, I just took backing from my mother, and didn't even tell my dad, and just put in my papers. And I in fact told my dad after I had quit my job, not even during the notice period. So that was something there, because I knew if I'll tell, this decision is going to get delayed. And one thing which I observed, in the people around, it was like, it has to be a spontaneous thing. It has to be something which has to either happen now, or it will never happen. And if I'll keep saying that, I'll wait for the right time, I'll wait for the right time, the right time will never come. We have to make the right time now. And that's how it started. And the first thing which we launched in Karyana in October 2014 was a small GK course which we released for IFT examination. As low as say 49 rupees is what we launched it. And when IFT exam happened, lot of questions came from it. And we got a very, very good feedback from all those people who used that. And here my initial journey of Pagal Guy helped me, because all those people who used to follow me on Pagal Guy, and they were connected with me because of it on Facebook, or say LinkedIn, all of them, they tried to give a shot to career. And that's where I believe that whatever social capital you created earlier, that did help when I started off. And then things luckily went well. And as we moved ahead, we were able to do something good in the field of ZAT. We collaborated with Accelerate for that. Similarly, we could do something well for Testnet, for MyCat, and we collaborated with Micah for that. So ultimately, we were able to carve out a niche in the non-CAT examinations for us. And then as the new season started to happen in 2015, people started to ask about CAT, because if you are dealing with something in MBA, you have to do something in CAT also. Otherwise, people believe that you are very, very incomplete. And that's where we got into the CAT preparation side as well. And I'm not sure how many players used to offer online live classes at that point of time, which we started to offer to the students. And luckily we had been growing since then. And we kept our journey going forward till 2018. Now there was one more thing, to grow as an edtech platform, you do require say external capital also. And we did had our own challenges. We had a limited team. If you want to scale up the team side, or if you want to support the ramped up user base, you need a support from the external capital to put in to create a high quality product, to create a very, very good user experience, etc. But there is a very different kind of a reality once you get into the startup world as well. While everyone talks about the VC money, people forget to understand that what are the expectations of a VC. And that was something which we also could not identify at the right time during that startup. That was one of the learnings which I took out from career now. Right. And primarily it's more about, these are two different things. One is you create a profitable business, you create a good going business, a stable business. And the second thing is you create a VC scale business. These are two entirely different things. Right. While we were doing very well in MBA space, we were generating some profits, growing at a strong rate. But just limiting ourselves to MBA space was not something which was a VC scale business, I would say. Right. You have to, because of the limited number of MBA aspirants out there. So you need to get to the banking space, you need to get to UPSC, IIT, etc., to be able to become a VC scale kind of a business. Right. And that's where we had our own learnings, we had our own experiences, but we consciously decided not to get into those spaces, because we believe that as a core team, our our forte was limited to MBA, and that's where we wanted to focus on, and we were getting good results. However, coming towards 2018 end, we started to see that in the GK content which we were providing to students, and some of this content we were providing also in the video format. So we saw that the kind of engagement which we were getting in English GK content, as compared to say what we were getting in Hindi GK content, or say a Tamil GK content, was disproportionately different. There was a disproportionately high engagement which we were getting for Hindi GK videos or Tamil GK videos as compared to say English GK videos. That's where the bell rung, because see, at the end of the day, all the MBA exams will come in English. Then why is the high engagement happening in Hindi content, or high engagement happening in Tamil content? That's where we talk to students, we try to understand that what was the reason for this. And what we got to know was, a lot of people were not seeing that GK content in Hindi or Tamil just as a learning content, but they were also seeing it as an opportunity for them to share their views, their opinions on a particular topic. And with no barrier of language, a lot of people appear for MBA exams with a language background, and these people, they were able to express themselves on those topics. So they took it more like a discussion on that topic, where they could freely discuss rather than say just a learning thing. That was something which introduced us to the language content space for the first time. Then we started to deep dive into it. We started to do our own research. We saw that there were quite a few players in the entertainment segment. At that point of time, say there were players like multiple players in the entertainment segment. The second segment, where again there were quite a few players, was of news. A lot of hyper local news players coming in, like Daily Hunt, etc., etc. They were going strong. And this I'm talking about say 2019 starting time. The third segment, which we were able to correlate with our users of Career Now, was people who wanted to derive some value out of the content piece which they are watching, but they don't want that content to be in a boring format. They want it to be in an entertaining video format, but a value adding content. That's where we saw that there were almost no player out there, which was addressing this. And that's where we decided to deep dive into this particular use case and try to come up with something. And basis the learnings which we had at Career Anna, we definitely wanted two things this time. That if we build a new product, if we build a new platform, it has to cater to two things. First, it has to be a massive scale business. And secondly, it has to be a daily use case. It cannot be an occasional use case. If you have to build something exponentially big, you need to do your own research. You need to analyze yourself. That is there a sufficient market? Is there a possibility for you to tap that market? And then will users be using it on a frequent basis or an occasional basis? So with those thoughts in mind, we started to develop use cases. We developed one use case which was around say developing something like regional Quora kind of a stuff, or the second use case was come up with a huge video repository, a user generated content repository where you let users come and create and watch and share videos in their local languages. We experimented with both the use cases, and we found that the Quora use case was still an occasional use case. It was not bringing people daily to the platform. It was something which you and I would also identify as an English user, because we go to Quora only when say someone does an A2A with us, or we have to ask a question, or we get a Google link for a Quora answer when we are searching something. So it's an occasional use case. But say we go to YouTube on a regular basis, we go on Instagram on a daily basis, etc. So that's where we shelved off the Quora use case and we focused on the UGC repository use case. Started to build on it, and finally we launched Bolo India in its current format on 11th of May 2019. That's how we finally started this entire journey. So that's about the journey from the college days, the impact of hobbies, starting off as a hobby, clicking it, and then getting into your first venture, having your own experiences, your own learnings, and just moving ahead from there, and continuing your passion to build something which could add value to the users, and sticking to the content to the content segment, whether it be earlier the pure educational content, or it being a mix of say entertainment and learning today.
Right.
So yeah, that's how the journey has been.
I think this is really inspiring because whatever you have told me from the your entire journey has given me a lot of questions to ask about, and let me put let's go one by one. The first thing is you mentioned that you wanted to start at something as a hobby, which eventually turned into a business. So many a times in our society, so uh, entrepreneurship or business is generally looked from a perspective of money making. Like let's say when you complete an engineering course or an MBA course, if you place in somewhere in a company, you get a package or amount. But that's where I think the fear comes in many students or even the parents who are not letting their kids to experiment things. But this particular thing of a hobby turning into a passion, then into a business, is something really inspiring. But many people, like even my business, whatever I'm doing right now, is like a similar journey, I would say, from a hobby to a business or an entrepreneurship, built from your passion of creating certain values or impact. So here we feel that there are a lot of places in which the students are being stopped at a place because we have seen many talented people, many passionate people who are creating certain impact in a small space, but they were not able to continue it even if they want to, because of the societal norms and because of many pressure around or their of the fear of being judged by the society. So this is always there. And as you mentioned, like you took a decision, you dared to leave your job even when your parents were not really supporting for it. But that is something I would like to know more, because what was internally happening to you, what made you take that decision to go for what you believed in? What was that one thing which made you to go for it beyond the fear of money making or building a business around it? What was your thought process?
Right. So, see, there are two parts to it. So, first is, when it comes to taking a decision, you need to back yourself. And mostly, I have found a lot of founders, around who back their decisions, whether the decision ends up being right or ends up being not so right, they will definitely back their decisions. They will take the ownership of their decisions. And that's where, I believe that that's one trait which differentiates, say, the founder community as such.
Right.
Doesn't matter, how big a startup you have created, or how you could not make it big, but one thing which connects all of them is backing their own decisions, having the ownership. That's
Exactly.
where you take that decision, and you dare to begin, as you rightly said. And then you should know that at the end of the day, it's completely okay if it does not work out. It's completely okay. At least you will have a satisfaction that you gave it a chance. You at least tried it. You did not just give up because of a fear, but you definitely tried it. It may or may not work, but you will at least be very well satisfied within yourself. And most of the founders with a kind of educational backgrounds, they come in, they all know that at the end of the day they are employable. They have the fallback option of going back to the jobs. So
Right.
it's not being about say unemployable, or anything.
Exactly.
Say 10 years back, a lot of people used to see that only a person who could not get a job from his college will do a startup. But
Right.
things have changed over last few
Right.
years, and a lot of highly employable people are starting up. They are becoming founders, and with that kind of a mindset, you have that confidence in you that it's I can take this risk. I will back myself,
Right.
and I will own whatever comes ahead. So that's where I believe that decision making becomes slightly easy. And definitely the ecosystem has a lot of role to play. The colleges, the institutes, they need to support entrepreneurship a lot. We have seen a good positive change over last 2 3 years in a lot of institutes. Institutes coming up with placement holidays, etc., etc.
Right.
They are also supporting people, encouraging people to start up, and maybe later on come back after a year for the placements, if things don't work out. You have a lot of initiatives coming from the current government also to support the startup ecosystem. So
Right.
things with, and with a lot more external capital also coming into the ecosystem. A lot of say successful founders of earlier years becoming angel investors, being there available to mentor and guide the upcoming founders. The ecosystem today is a lot more stronger, a lot more supportive, a lot more encouraging, and I believe that's a reason we see a lot and lot of high quality people becoming founders these days, and taking that plunge, taking that risk to give a shot, to their passion. And when it has derived from your hobby, and not just out of money making, it gives you a lot more happiness, by seeing it succeed. Because see, at the end of the day, you don't know that the solution which you are creating is could be a successful or not, but you should be say more in love with the problem you are solving. You should be more in love with the users you are aiming to add value to, rather than saying just falling in love with the solution, because solutions may change, with time. You don't know how the market is going to respond to what solution you are building. But one thing is definite, that if you are in love with your problem which you are solving and your users, you will definitely create you will finally create a solution, which will just become a hit among them. And one thing is there, that you should never start up just with the thought process of making money. Money and the wealth creation will definitely come as an outcome of you building big around your passion.
Right.
So you have to be patient. No startup founder, ask any startup founder out there, they have had the hardest times, at times not even having say money to buy a sandwich or a coffee. And 5-6 years down the line, you never know that how it turns out for them. So it's a hard journey. It's a journey, which you should not get there just because you have seen a lot of startup founders becoming very wealthy. But you should actually get into it when you are ready to also go through those hardship years, which it will take for you to become a one night wonder.
Right. Amazing. So, and one more thing which I wanted to ask is, since from your you are interacting with a lot of students right from your career and nowadays, because even as I told, I interacted with you personally during my preparation. So you would have spoken to many students around, and even now probably you must be recruiting from different colleges. I would like to know from you, as a startup, as a founder of two different companies, what are the values which you look in a person? Because I think why I'm asking this question is this will help people to understand what actually the company or an organization needs beyond the technical skills. What type of attitude you look at people when you are taking them up on your company? Because many a times it is misassumed that entrepreneurship is only for somebody who's a founder, which is definitely not from my side, because I would want every individual in my organization to function like me with the entrepreneurial spirit. So I would like to know from your end, what was your thought? Because this will help people to understand what an organization requires when they are going for a hiring spree. Because many a times people feel that the college degree or the certification which they do on a particular course, they feel that they are employable. So what do you think is that one attitude which you look around the student community when you are going for a hiring?
See, I'll say not just for student community, but in anyone I am talking to explore synergies to work together. The first thing which I look out for is the curiosity. That's very very important trait for me. The person needs to be curious to learn more, to grow more, and have this factor in him or her to experiment and not to be afraid from experimenting. It's okay to fail in your experiments, to take evaluated risks. That risk taking ability, the ambitiousness in the person, and a go-getter attitude, that's what I look for. Hard skills come at a later stage. You can teach hard skills, but these are a few things which you can't teach to a person. And more importantly, at the end of the day, a lot of people might be doing multiple things in a startup. They might not be just restricted to their core skill area. So it's very important to have people, who are ready to be a problem solver. Because in startups, there are going to be problems. There are going to be problems of different kinds depending upon the stage you are in. But you don't need a person who comes and tells you every time that there's a problem. But you need people who come there and tell you that this is a problem and this is a solution. And
Right.
if you can identify those kind of people, be it from colleges or be it even from people who have work experience,
Right.
that's the kind of team I believe that every founder is looking to build.
Because that becomes a main question when, because I was asking the same question to many other founders, because almost had a similar answer, because we know that what are the kind of qualities which we look into. Because I asked this question because you were interacting with student community as well, so that was one reason I wanted to ask. Right, so right now let's talk about Bolo India, because Bolo India is really inspiring. I've tried the application and I can see a lot of different features which other applications don't have. So I think people who are in the advertising space or in the content creation space might be knowing about Bolo India. So let's give a brief context about what is Bolo India and what they are doing, and what is that one unique thing which they are changing in this overall. Let's address the people who don't even know what the Bolo India app is all about. So let's please from you, I want to like know about that.
So I'll pick up from where I left. That we launched Bolo India in May 2019, and when we launched it, there were a lot of Chinese applications around, right? And we had no clue that those Chinese applications are going to be banned in future. So, and with the kind of capital which they had, with the kind of user base which they already have at the time when we were starting, uh, we definitely did not want to be seen as just the alternative of those Chinese applications, but we wanted to build something which could address even the then existing gap for the users, be able to create value for them, and maybe strongly coexist with those Chinese applications, as a platform for the users. And what we saw was, while a lot of these Chinese applications, they were providing, say, instant social gratification to the users, still there was a lot of things around being financially independent among the users, which were not fulfilled by these platforms. And and the reason for that was primarily these platforms will allow a content creator, even after being very popular, to earn through brand partnerships as a major source of income. Now those kind of brand partnerships, they are limited to a set of people, a set of creators, just going to say top 5%, top 10% of the creators, to a restricted set of categories also. A person who is cooking, or say a person who is very good with painting might not become a brand, might not partner with any FMCG brand. Or say someone who is good in motivational speaking or good with astrology might never be selected by any e-commerce brand to partner with them for brand partnership, right? So what to do about these creators? We talk to a lot of creators. We talk to people from Chinese applications. We also talk to creators who are very active on YouTube, having a limited set of subscribers, so still far away from earning on YouTube. And we finally identified a problem that people were not able to transform their social capital to a source of earning. And that's where we came into the picture as a platform where we decided to add value to the users by enabling them to transform their social capital to financial independence. And that's the core proposition which we took to the users. We said that we will not only make you go viral, but we'll also make you encash that virality on the platform, by not limiting you only to brand partnerships, but also by letting you deliver personalized online services on the platform through video sessions, to your user base. So this becomes easy for them because this user base already trusts this creator. They already have a credibility. When they come up with the online service, there's a very high probability for them to have a transaction being done, being paid by their follower base for a personalized online service. And that's where this entire proposition of Bolo Meets, which we have for our users, came in. And that today stands out as a standout differentiator for us, across some of the peer applications.
Okay.
And today we have a lot of people, a lot of creators who are earning well on the platform. We have creators who are earning in the range of 50,000-60,000 rupees per month on the platform itself, by letting their services being discovered and availed by their follower base.
Right.
And what differentiates this also from, say, a typical marketplaces, this is not a marketplace model. where you have the listing of all the courses or all the services. Someone comes and discovers the service and goes for it. But here it's an engagement led model. Basis your engagement with a particular creator, you end up discovering the services. You then end up paying for them, doing micro payments on the platform. Then you avail those services on the platform itself by getting into a closed video session. This could be a one-to-one video session. This could be a one-to-many video session. This could be a live show. This could be anything which allows a particular user to pay to avail a session of a creator. This could be a personalized astrology service. This could be a group Zumba dance. This could be a stand-up comedy show. This could be anything. And that's where we have been able to empower the content creators to monetize on the platform. And that's what has differentiated us. And luckily we have been able to go strong till now.
Amazing. So because this is something even part of our team, what we actually do, we collaborate with the regional artists. When I mean artists, they can be a calligrapher, or there can be just a simple sand artist, because we have something called as collab art as a part of our organization. So where we have sourced around close to 500 to 600 artists right now, where we actually collaborate with them for the kind of let's say when we have a brief, we don't just do with the in-house designers, but we also collaborate with the people around. And because and this is what you are mentioning is something which is backing up the entire artist platform with a technology centric thing, which is really amazing. And one more thing of which I wanted to ask was the monetization part, which you told, because people were posting YouTube videos because they realized that there is a place where they are getting paid. But right now, what you're saying is even more, because there people are going to pay for a session basis of things. So whenever somebody is creating a session, it's more like a workshop where people can register to it and attend to it, and everything is within the Bolo application. Is it a separate platform, or is it within the application?
On the same platform.
Great. So I understood that there are a lot of things for the artists out there. I would like to know, because since I'm being the advertiser, would like to know what are the things which brands can avail from these kind of things. And this would, because I tell my media team to invest in different types of platforms, not just on Instagram. We were, in fact, like Bolo India is one such platform. We want to do it in the coming days. Definitely, I see a lot of potential. One thing being, this is a vernacular platform where we are targeting lot many regional content creators, which is definitely difficult in other platforms. So that is one reason. But from you, I would like to know what are the potential for brands to utilize this platform? What are the opportunities for brands to tap in, which they don't have in a reel or a other platform?
Right. So see, first of all, the kind of targeting which you could get, right, with the kind of, because we primarily have users consuming the short videos, which helps us to develop a very strong analytics around the user preference, the kind of personal tastes which they have. And, there could be a very focused targeting which the brands can have on the platform. Uh, you know, and say targetings like say gender, etc., or city, etc., are the very very basic ones. We can keep on double clicking them, and we could offer brands the targeting basis that there are a lot of high impact inventories, high reach inventories which we have as compared to say someone like reels. So for example, just to give you an example, there is something called a brand takeover ad, where uh, as soon as anyone opens up the application, the brand ad comes up first, before even the user going to the feed. That's a very very premium kind of an inventory, apart from the usual inventories which we have. Brands can today we have over 75 brands who are actively participating for content marketing initiatives with us. And these go across FMCG, e-commerce, pharma, your gaming applications, etc. And most of them are working for on content marketing with us, using different kind of inventories depending upon their objectives. Some of them are even working on say, some performance campaigns. But primarily what we have seen is there's a very limited set of platforms available out there, which allows a brand to reach out to the language audience, and not just to reach out, but reach out in a very high impact manner. Because when it comes to say digital marketing for a brand, they are not only looking out for a specific feature in the platform, they're also looking at what kind of impact can they create through this ad. So for example, if say there's a Pepsi or there's a Coke, they are coming up with a campaign, or Cadbury is coming up with a campaign, can this platform help them amplify the impact which they want to create through the storytelling which they typically do on say a TV ad or a YouTube ad? Can this be an add-on? Can this help them take their messaging, take their story to a tier 2, to a tier 3, or at times even tier 4 for certain languages? So that's where the platforms like us, they come out and offer a lot of synergistic value to the brands. And that's where we have been seeing a very strong response, a very strong affinity and love from the brands, as I shared. And I believe that going forward, say by the time we enter the second half of this year and the next year, short video platforms which have a good engagement with the users will be of key focus area as a platform for a lot of brands to partner with. Because see, it's not about the game of just having huge number of installs. It's about having the game of engagement with the users.
Exactly.
And brands will be more active on those platforms which have high user engagement, and not just say high number of installs, because the story between installs to engagement is never told. How many installs are ultimately getting translated into a retained user, no one knows.
Right.
How that retained user is engaging on the platform. So those will be the stories which platforms will have to offer to the brands, and let the brands experience that impact, that reach with their audience when they get onboarded on these platforms like us.
Right. And the entire video consumption is growing, right? Like not just all the formats of video is getting rise, and we also know that the next 100 billion users are going to come from the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities of the country. So where do you see the entire video consumption is going, and how do you think, like, because there are a lot of platforms coming up, new vertical, and especially after TikTok's ban, we could see many brands coming up with a vertical video application. Lot of applications, but human is confined to certain number of hours of usage in a day. So how are they going to make use of it? And there will be huge competition, as I can see. So where we can stand out, and what type of consumption, what type of content that users are looking forward to.
Right. So I guess gone are the days when we used to say that video is future. I believe that video is present now. Video is now and here, and it's going to stay here for a long time. And today there are many platforms, whether it be say a short video application platform or an OTT platform. There are so many choices available to the users. But still, what this does is this gives user a lot of options to consume what they want to consume. So for example, a user, how many users you see that very active on a Z5 content or an alt biology content, and being very active on Netflix also? There are very few people. There are people who prefer to watch say the Netflix kind of a content vis-a-vis someone who prefers to watch a Woot or an alt 5 or alt biology or Z5, etc. So people are deciding their platforms basis their flavor of content they want to consume. Similarly, when you talk about short video applications, it's not going to be about just having the short video content, but it's about that what does it bring to the table for the user. If a user is only willing to get entertained, he can go to YouTube, or he can go to OTT. Can you as a platform give me something beyond entertainment also? Right. So for example, if I ask someone who is in a tier 2 or a tier 3, what does he want in life? He'll primarily want two things. First is he wants to earn money to have a livelihood, to be able to sustain life, and second, entertainment, right? And those people who are coming from say tier 2, tier 3, the new language audience, they are not typically very say pro to keeping vertical focused apps. You or say anyone living in a metro can say keep one app for fitness, one app for a heartbeat rate capturing, one app for how many calories you are taking, one app for food delivery, etc., etc. But those the newer audience which is coming, they prefer to keep limited number of applications. They may try all, they will try all,
Right.
but they will ultimately restrict themselves to those few applications which are going to provide them the kind of value. If you are just entertainment, they will go to YouTube, because for them the entertainment starts with Bollywood, the entertainment ends at Bollywood, right? Or say a Tollywood for a Tamil or Telugu audience, right? So that's how it has to be there. The platform needs to identify what value the platform wants to bring in, whether as a short video application, and if you could deliver that value, with some impact on the users are going to stick to you no matter what the competition is, because it's not a zero sum game. So I cannot say that my gain is only going to happen when some other competition app is going to lose. No, that's not how the market is. There is still a lot of innovation to be done around content. There is a lot of value to be brought to the users even around the short video content,
Right.
the kind of engagements possible on the short video content. So I believe that we are not still in those days where we could say that the market is saturated.
Yeah.
Its market is just starting, and the
It's for
next four
everyone.
to five years the next 4 to 5 years are going to be very, very exciting for the content space, the video space.
Right.
We might see the Indian OTT platforms surpassing the likes of Netflix, or you may see a couple of short video applications becoming unicorns in next 4 to 5 years. You never know.
Right. So I think this is something unique about the main reason which I wanted to discuss was to tap both the sides of things, like where your entrepreneurial journey and also the momentary thing, which is the rise of content creation and promoting the artist and the vertical video space. So all these things were in sync with today's trend. So I think we had a lot of interesting points coming up from you. So I would like to have one more question to you. Is what do you think the future of advertising is all about? As you, I think we discussed more points regarding that in a different way. But what do you think the future of advertising? How it is going to be? What type of content? Because clearly people are skipping ads and people are don't want to see boring ads. People are wanting to consume more informative content, as you mentioned. So where is it all going? And as an advertiser, like I know that where it is moving towards, but for the viewers, if you can tell where is that, I mean, what type of content is going to work out, and what type of things are not going to, what type of things are going to get obsolete, which is in the existing present day.
See, I believe that advertisers will start talking as a consumer. They will stop talking as a brand. Your to ensure that people don't skip your ads. People see your ads. If your ad is coming on TV, they don't switch that channel on TV. Your ad need to have a connect with the person, and that connect has to be in the form of where you tell that what's a benefit for a particular product or a brand or a platform for the user, rather than say talking about what the platform or a brand is all about. So for example, if I'm a test preparation platform, I cannot just go and say that I teach you, and you will get selected. You have to tell me that how am I going to help you in your preparation, even in a delta way. If I am say someone like Bolo India, I need to tell the user that what are the benefits of being on Bolo India. How can Bolo India impact the lives of a user in a positive way, rather than just going gaga about my features, about Bolo meets and everything. But I should be able to communicate to the user that how Bolo India could become an integral part of their lives, which could take care of both their entertainment and the earning side, right? Similarly, every advertiser, be it from any sector, will need to talk about the place of a brand or a product in the life of a consumer, and that messaging, that story needs to come out when you are using advertisement as a storytelling mode. And I believe that's where we all are growing, and any ad which just talks about the brand will stop being loved by the users.
Yeah, and that is also one of the reasons. Like right now, the influencer marketing is somewhere it's growing a lot exponentially. Like people are spend. I mean, FMCG brands are spending more on influencers, where because they were able to connect with the brands, where the big stars were not able to do that. Like because people are hating to see just advertisement with a big star on it. Rather, they would prefer some informative content from the influencers or somebody who is actually adding a lot of value to their day-to-day life. So I think just like that, you are yourself added a lot of value to this particular podcast, and I think the viewers must be getting a lot of informative content. I think towards the end of the session we are right now, so I would like to ask two questions before ending up this session. So one is regarding the entrepreneurial journey and how we can actually motivate the young students or people who really want to start up but struggling, or in a way they are stepping back to take that decision. So I would like to know from you, because you have that to begin, and would like to know from you what students can do or how students can prepare themselves. Let's say if they are in an MBA college or in the final year of their college, or let's say first year of their college. So if somebody who wants to, because right now, as you mentioned, people who want to get into startups or want to create their own business is increasing a lot. How they can prepare themselves? Many institutions or places, people are not getting that sort of a guidance what they exactly want to do, and towards the end of their career or towards end of their college, they are in a very hurry mind to get placed somewhere in some company. So the idea is to encourage more people to step forward and start their own businesses, what they believe in, how they can prepare themselves, because as you mentioned, we need to back up with a lot of things, personally or like even financially. So let's say if somebody has that kind of a thing in their mind to start their own business, let's say 3 to 4 years of preparation mentally or technically, what are the things students need according to you? How do they need to prepare themselves?
No preparation, if you ask me, whatever a B school or a graduation college will teach you will all go
Right.
in waste the moment you start up, right?
Exactly.
No preparation, just be very persistent, be as strong minded as possible, be as a strong backer of your own views or own decisions. That's what is going to help you. You will still take wrong decisions, you will still not able to succeed in every decision which you will take. But one thing which I have learned so far is entrepreneurship cannot be taught. No B school or no graduation college could make you ready for it. But yes, there is a lot of help available around. Do not say hesitate from taking help around. There are a lot of startup founders who have done well in their lives, and they are usually available to talk to. Go and talk to them, take their advice, share your ideas with them, see what they have to suggest. Be very say clear in what help you require from a person. Don't go in a very say a clueless manner. Go in a very focused manner that I need help in XYZ areas. There's a lot of content. Again, it brings me back to the content thing. There's a lot of good content around. There's so much highly valued content available in books, in podcasts, in videos on YouTube, where you have, say, the likes of Steve Jobs, Sam Altman, etc., who where they have shared their learnings as a startup founder. They have shared their failures, they have shared how they have gotten back after every failure. Consume that content, learn from there, so that you at least make new mistakes, and when you make new mistakes, you don't get afraid that you have made a mistake, but it gives you still gives you a confidence that it's okay to make mistakes, right? That's what you need to do. Go and consume the journeys, go and consume the content around the journeys of a lot of successful people out there, especially in the ecosystem. And one thing which I've learned over the period of time is never hesitate from asking for help. That's one thing which pulls us back. As in your initial few years, you will need a lot of help. Take it. There are people who are available. Don't just rely on on your college faculties or anyone on those areas. Because even no academic book or no faculty can teach you entrepreneurship. They could only say motivate you, but once you have that motivation, you have to take people's help from the ecosystem, and that's how it should be.
Right. where students can actually get themselves close to startups. Maybe they can do their internships. And this is one of the points like we got from the previous episodes, where the person mentioned about where students can actually get themselves close to the founders and the startup community, where they can actually get some practical knowledge about how a startup functions and how it executes. So that was a valuable point, definitely, I would say. And towards the end of this every podcast, I ask this particular question to everyone. See, in this startup journey, we have a lot of tough moments, as you mentioned, financially, and even when we are taking certain hard decisions. So there are a lot of moments in which we have to believe in what we are standing for and what we are thinking. So those during those moments and in many other tough situations, what is that one thing which keeps you driving? So internally, what is that one thing which motivates you to go on? What is that internal motivation?
Right. So I will say that, the only thing which keeps, motivated is, just think of, whenever you find there's a hard time, just think of that. Why did you start it all? Whose life did you want to impact? And does that impact, would mean anything once you achieve that, right? Just let that thrill flow into you every time you feel down, and you will find yourself up and running, and you will never have a dull day, dull morning. That's a motivation which will keep you going, even working on weekends. In fact, there are no weekends for a startup founder. You will continue that journey. You will never find that you are bored of it, or you are down, or the time is very hard. Just think of those people, those users, those stakeholders to whom you could bring in a smile. And these could be stakeholders starting from your team, going to your users, going to your shareholders. This could be anyone across.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the time, and thanks for valuable content which you have provided here. I think many people who are listening to this will be definitely getting some sort of a benefit which they can take home. So thanks a lot, Varun, for this amazing session.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of this session.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
And that's the end of the 4th episode of Dare to Begin. Stay tuned for more interesting and inspirational entrepreneur stories.